Yeah, we're back in the second quarter, and we apologise if we've missed the first 2 or 3 seconds, but what about the line down there we go? The throng of people that have flocked to the footy.
I couldn't believe it, Hoppy. You sent me out there to get the pie and the sav and the couple of coffees and stuff, and mate, she was 60 metres long.
Oh, it certainly was. So welcome back to the footy, and nice work there by Oates, who went the big spoil, and he bludgeoned that ball right out deep and wide, and it is over the boundary line, and it'll be a boundary throw in. You might have cast your ear down there to the coaches. How did they see the quarter time, Wiggo?
Yeah, obviously Rocherlea pretty happy with the start. Really important to get out of the blocks well, and they had a slow start last week, which hurt them against South Launceston at Youngtown, so they're really pleased. Whilst Deloraine, Rory obviously had a chat to them about their shots on goal and how important it is to concentrate and make sure you get the 6 points.
As we had another shot, that was clever play by Blackpool, who just couldn't quite put that one through, so it was through for a minor score, but a sprightly start there by the Roos, and that's what they'd want in the early stages, although they've been outscored slightly a goal, and they're right back on almost level terms. So going forward, that was a very, very nice spoil by Croden there. Went the big fist, and now's an opportunity. Went the smaller kick, but unfortunately only went as far as Burling. Burling goes back, gets the ball in wide, and now it's the Roos just mopping up, going out towards that outer wing. It's almost kick to kick here as Etchell has taken that mark.
Score see Rocherlea 3-4-22 to 1-7-13.
Gee whiz, and here we are again. Do you think the boys have changed their glasses or something? Because it's almost like they've got the Roos kicking to the Tigers, as Crawford was just standing back with great strength. Stood up in that one, put the Dukes up and took it, and it is right on the wing position now. And we're seeing the big ruckman come in and take this tap. Up they go. And of course it is the Tiger man who gets it out. I love that give and go there by Miar. And he plays on now, uses a bit of pace, comes to the open territory now, going back in another Roos. I don't know if that was quite a handball, but the umpire deemed that he tried his best. So coming back now is Lee. I think Lee might be not playing on Motlop now. He might have a bit of freedom, and defensively puts that one through for the minor score.
Sees Rocherlea 3-5-23, stretch their lead against the Deloraine Roos, 1-7-13.
Okay, coming right out to the 10-metre square. Oh, and when I said right out, I think he might have just encroached that one. The umpire is right onto that one.
That's their playing coach too, Rory Mansell, so he'd be disappointed with that effort.
Yeah, you can't go crook. He'll just say, sorry boys, it was a bit of an accident. Now, that's the one thing you can do now and never do it again throughout the match.
Yeah, it's really inexcusable, isn't it? You're given a nice 10-yard square there, Hoppy. I never understand how that happens.
Yeah, just go back a metre. You've got one, so you get 9 for free.
Yeah, it looks like there's a free kick there.
Oh, now this is going to be very, very costly, as there's been an infringement and a 50-metre penalty. So you might as well chalk this down. I think one thing over the 52 years that I've been on this earth is, the more you talk to the umpire, he is dead set not going to change his mind. All he'll do is keep taking you back.
Undisciplined. Very ordinary there by the Deloraine Roos, particularly with their playing coach Rory Mansell in the vicinity of that situation. But Rocherlea now jumped to a 16-point lead, 4-5-29. Lead inaccurate. Deloraine, 1 goal, 7-13.
I think it was a combo there. It was almost like a push, and when the push came, the arm came over the shoulder, and that was the resultant free kick. So that was very interesting, and that's a little bit of breathing space now for the Tigers as the Roos go forward. But coming out, taking a really, really strong mark was Oates. Their defensive line has really got it worked out. They're teaming up well, aren't they, Wiggo?
They certainly are. He looks a likely type, Oates. Big boy, and he holds down centre half back really well. A couple of good clearance punches in the first quarter, and he's a general.
They're big and they're strong, but they run well, and they're communicating very well. So they're playing as a team. As it comes back into the big man hole, and he couldn't quite hold on. He went back for his third attempt. Now comes out to Morgan. He's under the pump, so they just have to decide to kick it out. And here's my man, Richards. I've got a little bit of time for that young fellow as he kicks out wide, looked at laterally, nearly went away. So it's Woodward now. Just goes back to steady the ship. Looking for some options up forward. Decides to go out wide to the leading Motlop. He's got a couple on him. Now Roos are wise up to that. He can't pick it up. Oh, shimmied. Pretended to go to the dummy for the kick off the ground. He's under enormous pressure and the umpire has only got one thing to do, and that is ball it up.
I think one thing I picked up, Hoppy, obviously Daniel Motlop's going to be a focus for the Deloraine backline all day. Probably an opportunity for the Rocherlea coaching staff to explore there and maybe use him as a decoy and open up the opportunities for Holton, etc.
So that's very astute observation there by you, Vigo. Absolutely, if he's prepared to keep leading out like that and taking a couple of players, well, I'm not a rocket scientist, but that basically means there's going to be a man free somewhere. And why wouldn't you utilise him? And sliding in, taking a very, very creative mark there was Gale, the skipper, as we see on the rewind here. Beautiful work there by Motlop, creative. He almost slid over and then just took it like a slips catch, and he's now going to have a shot on goal.
This guy, Hoppy, actually is a former Clarence and Devonport TSL player. Brenton Gale, he spent some time at Rouland and moved back to Launceston for work reasons, and what a fantastic goal.
It certainly was. That was a lovely kick, and now I tell you what, we go, the Tigers are looking the goods.
Yeah, it's a massive break now, 23 points. These Rocherlea 5-6-36, trailing an inaccurate Deloraine Rouge, 1 goal, 7-13.
All right, so the umpire has got that ball back in his hands and will throw it aloft in the centre of the Rocherlea ground here for the J. Bogenson NTFA Division 1. Big clash, what is the Indigenous round here for season 2014. That ball going down there. They've just got to really change that up with their forward thrust, we go. They're just bombing it up, and it's really playing into the hands of the defensive work of the Tigers.
Yeah, you can certainly see the difference in the two sides at the moment. Obviously, Rocherlea are pretty cool customers going inside 50 and looking for those options with players leading out in front, whereas Deloraine, as you say, are bombing and they're paying the consequences at the moment.
Okay, so Motlop, he decides to go to the shimmy for the handball. Nothing was on, so he just decides to kick it into that dangerous area. Ball's coming out. These are the ones that you hate to be under, but great courage there from Cameron. You wouldn't expect anything less from this man. He picks it up and butters up and now kicks it out towards the wing. It's a two-on-one contest now. The old Roos trying to get that handball out. Opportunity. I can see a man over the back, but he couldn't quite get it to him. And I think it's just stayed inside the line. It'll be a boundary throw in front of what is the Lizard Wing.
Certainly is the Lizard Wing, Hoppy. And may I make a comment that it's fantastic how the Deloraine players are treated, Daniel Motlop too. Like, you sometimes wonder when these AFL players come over, Hoppy, whether they're going to be intimidated or belted around the head, etc. He's playing the game fair, and those guys certainly, when they're approaching contests, are playing it fair as well.
That's what you'd like to see. You don't want to see someone sort of being able to talk in the pub late one night, I'm the bloke who, you know, thumped whoever it might be. They're actually treating him with what is the day is all about, respect,
yes,
as a person, as a footballer, and just going about their business. And we're very much enjoying our day here. Everyone at the Rocherlea Football Club has really looked after us well here today, we go.
They certainly have. It's a fantastic day, and we want to see more guys like Daniel Motlop coming down and doing these one-off games, Hoppy. They seem to be very popular around the state. A lot of clubs are doing it these days, and no different today at Rocherlea. It's pulled a good crowd.
Will there ever be a day when when I had colour in my hair, we used to have a lot of the old VFL players come down and retire down here and coach? Or do you think those days are gone because the money's too much in country Victoria or South Australia?
Yeah, it makes it hard, obviously, but I guess it depends on family circumstances. If they're a single guy, they're coming out of the AFL system and looking to start somewhere initially, what a fantastic place to come.
It certainly is, and now here's a big opportunity for the Roos. As Kalali picks that ball up, he's driven it. Oh, just about to pump the big man's tyres up in Benny Kalali. He really looked the goods there, and he just scraped that inside of the post. Very unlucky on that particular thrust forward.
Yeah, listen, that's their 5th time inside 50 this quarter. Sees Deloraine 1 goal, 8-14, trail Rocherlea 5-6-36.
Not very efficient when it comes to those forward thrusts. That's a very, very nice mark by Crawford, a good pair of dukes. He goes back, and here they go back inside again. The man coming out, sliding, very clever was Blackwell. Couldn't quite get underneath it. Oh, here's our lively fella now. That's Riley taking the mark. He's decided to play on because the last set shot, Well, I think that one's really got inside his head, that last set shot, which was only from about 15 metres out. He said, I couldn't get that one. What about I screw it over Stevie Johnson style? And he's missed that one as well, we go.
Disappointing Hoppy. Takes him to 1 goal, 9-15, trailing Rocherlea 5-6-36, and bad kicking is bad football.
Certainly is. So now another opportunity for the Tigers. They picked that ball up, were tackled without it was Ryan. Going back in, slapping the opposition away. But they can't get their head over the ball. Lovely work there by Miar. Gets the handball out to the team's advantage, but running back now is Kalali. He put his head over the ball. It's like they've been doing all day. McLaren just sort of tapping it. Now can't bring it up. But I think he might be going to get a free kick here. And he certainly is. Now that man up there in the scoreboard, I don't know if you know his name, but I'll put it to you. He's probably been in that position every day for the last 70 or 80 years of his life.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Hoppy.
Yeah. 25 years we've just been informed he has been manning that scoreboard, and that's what your community is all about. Getting people doing things, not asking for money, not asking for any reward except the respect that they get from the players who represent their football club. And that's what we love about team sport, isn't it? Everyone getting in and doing something, whether it be a trainer or rubbing the down or serving in the canteen.
Absolutely.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it is, mate. That's what makes community football clubs, and that takes Deloraine to 1 goal, 10-16, trailing Rocherlea 5-6-36.
Okay, so Miar takes that mark. He just decides to get it down to Motlop. He's got a bit of a run at it. He goes up. Oh, the script wasn't paid. He'd had that one for a fair while, but wasn't paid. Running back hard over. I think he might have just slipped that one into the back, but he was given a bit of leniency there maybe for who he was. And the Roos now are trying to clear that ball out, and they have done very, very successfully as Lindsay takes that mark. It's Lindsay now. He was on that half-back flank, goes out. I mean, that's a brilliant mark there. Wearing the
hands.
Yeah, that's Tommy Larby. Wearing the 18 Guernsey, of course, like the great Wayne Carey used to lead out for the Roos in the AFL. At the defensive work here, they've just got all the answers. It's just when it gets down to that 50, they are setting up that wall and playing great team football across the back line as Motlop showing a bit of the old World Cup skills there, just trying to toe that one back to his teammate there in Gale. Now he goes back in to get it again. He tries the soccer off. Coming back in, almost went the soccer off the ground, but thought better of it. And now the Roos settle and get that ball out here, and it comes towards Amagus. Lovely kick inboard now. They just want to settle this one down and try and get some numbers back to their forward line. Big, long kick, and we can see, have a look at the Rocherlea numbers. There we go. As soon as they can see the ball going back in a bit of a pack, they all went there like a flotilla of Rocherlea players.
Absolutely. My man Oates there at the bottom of the pack there, working his butt off the centre half back. He's a fantastic defender and doing a wonderful job.
He certainly is, as Woodward's outnumbered 4-1, but he's good enough to go in and fight really, really hard. As Uganis there was good enough to get it out to his teammate. Can't take that mark. They've really got to try and hold that ball up across that forward line. I think we go and try and create some space on the fat side of the ground, I think, is the way to go. Anyway, it now comes out towards Woodward. Woodward sees the man on. The leading player is Murphy. Murphy, small of stature, just like the Murphy for Carlton there, is low to the ground in a similar kicking style out towards the leading Motlop. And he couldn't quite get the arms up in time.
As I mentioned to you, Hoppy, earlier on, I think obvious from that piece of play there that they're pretty conscious of Daniel Motlop and they're going to him all the time, and probably that was the opportunity to go to the top of the square.
Gee, you're right on top of that. That's very astute of you to have noticed that. And I'm sure as soon as the siren goes for half-time, you will be just settling straight down into that Roos room. And you'll be settling alongside Rory and just whispering in his shell-like and maybe giving him a heads up of how you would see the game going.
I've been known to do that in the past.
Mostly saying, give you 20 cents worth, old champion. So now it is their Roos. They go back out into the centre of the ground. Of course, this live wire, that is Riley. He just a bit of a jump in the box, goes up and can't bring it down, but they've got the numbers now through hand to James. Beautiful work there, comes it to Uganis now. He gets it up. Here's that kick that is letting it down, and Oates, big, strong fella, takes the mark, and he's going to clear that ball right out wide. They go up. That's what they come to see. Miard jumping high for the ball. and it comes out now towards Stubbs. Stubbs, a lovely low kick, and Gale leads out and takes the mark. He doesn't muck around. He's getting the ball in nice and quickly. Holton can't take the mark. Looks beautiful pick up by Holton. Gets it front and centre to Woodward. Comes back towards Moplop. They're fighting for the ball. It's going very close, and I think it's just touched on the line. Great work there by Marcus Lee.
Sees Rocherlea 5-7-37. Out in front by 21 points. Deloraine 1 goal 10-16.
Okay, they've decided to come back out across the ground. That's your modern football right there. As long as that ball is moved quickly, nothing's on to down the sideline, so they decide to go back across. A little bit slippery there, but luck's a fortune as we didn't lose our feet, and was well played by Mitchell. So they're just taking their time, a bit of a slower build-up, and that's all right. That's what they need to do, because that quick ball into the forward line hasn't really gone well for them at this stage. So Morgan, he can't see anything on. He was going to come back across towards the commentary tower, but he decides to go for the short pass. Rocherlea at this stage are a bit wake up to that. They're trying to cover all their bases, and this is the kick that they've been very, very good at. And yet again, they've got some numbers back down there as Uganis there tries to keep that one in. Big opportunity now if they can try and get that quick one out the back. I think there might be a free kick here. It was. I think it was paid for over the shoulder. That's the way the ump's seen it. So the Roos have got an opportunity. It's a lovely short kick. The big man coming out can't quite take the mark there in Blackwell. He's good enough to go back in and get the ball. It's going to be another free kick here to the Roos, I think. And they might. Let's have a look at this one.
Oh, yes.
You can see there he slipped down. It was unfortunate there by Richards, wasn't it? I don't think he meant to do that, but he slipped under. And so now we're going to have a shot on goal by Donahue.
He's got the Kennedy style going in to have a shot there, Hoppy.
Yeah, it's been very effective, I think. He looked a likely one. He had that tight shot down the other end. And that's a very, very nice shot on goal by Brady Donahue, and he slipped it through for a Deloraine goal.
Very important, Hoppy. Obviously, very poor kicking. 2 goals, 10-22. Trail Rocherlea 5-7-37.
Well, so the ball comes back in. It's certainly given them a lift. That's the fillip they needed. There's no doubt about that. Ball comes over the back. I think there might have been a bit of edging out there. Motlop was just edged his man under that. He was trying to plead his case, but the old man in orange and red and whatever other colour he's got on there, he said, no, you're not getting away with that. Not today, not on my watch. As that ball comes out very, very wide, it's going towards the boundary line. Very nice Shepherd. That's good teamwork there, but can't quite get the handle on it. So it's going to be a boundary throw-in on the outer side here at the Rocherlea Oval.
It's been a great game so far, Hoppy. Obviously, Deloraine's poor kicking hasn't helped their cause, but it's played in wonderful spirits, and we're seeing some wonderful players running around.
Do you think that gives the coach a lot to work with, Rory Mansell? So when he goes in, if you look at the stats, and you've got quite a lot of stats there, the tackle counts, which is pretty even, and it's just that last entry, and then which is then producing the inaccuracy. But if one or two of those other shots there we go, they are very much leveling. In fact, if we should be blunt about it, they've had more opportunity. They really should be in front. So he's got a lot to work with.
Well, you certainly like the way they've gone about it. Obviously, they haven't been fantastic when they've gone inside 50, but mate, they've had 27 inside 50 so far, and they've got a 50% ratio for something on the scoreboard. So if they can start kicking them straight, they could potentially blow this game away.
Well, that was brilliant play there by Donahue. I really liked the way he really saw that one coming, didn't he? As we see here, look at him, he was pointing, drifted across, kept his eye on the ball when he knew that Richards was coming at him. He had no fear for his body, and then got it in there to the big man down forward in Blackwell, and now Blackwell's got an opportunity to draw another goal. Oh, bad luck there. It's just pushed it out. He almost steered that one, Wigo, didn't he? Didn't quite kick through the ball.
Reminds me a bit of Tony Lockett, the big fella. 2 goals, 11-23. Deloraine trailing Rocherlea 5-7-37.
Okay, so the ball coming out towards the wing. Rocherlea pick it up, arch in the back. Brilliant tackle there by the Roos, and it's a couple of fierce tackles over the ball. And a little bit of feeling coming in here. Just protecting your mate, nothing much in that. That was all right, all good work. There's Cameron and who else is down there? I think that might be Woodward and Gale. They just sort of waving the flag a bit, and we don't mind a bit of that, we go.
We certainly don't, Hoppy. And I've just noticed, similar to the AFL games that we see on the TV, Hoppy, that sometimes our boundary umpire isn't getting the ball far enough out to the two ruckmen in the contest from the boundary throwing.
I don't think there's any shame, we go. Just take a few steps inboard.
That's right.
It's no big deal about that.
Yeah,
and then up she goes.
Stuff.
Just bring that ball in a little bit further. There we go. Oh, Oates is down the back that time. That was great courage by Gleeson, who was at the front of the pack, and he almost pulled in what would have been a very impressive mark. I think getting under the ball there, and you can't do that. That was Maynard, who thought he might have got his man under the ball, but it was deemed to be a push in the back. He guarded that territory probably before the ball became within 5 metres, we go, and I think that was quite a correct decision by the umpire.
Yeah, spot on. Great decision.
Okay, so they start to decide to spread. This is your modern football now, when your defenders start to run and spread to give us create that space, and that big kick came down there, and as is usual, the defensive work by the Tigers under Sammy Bannister just put the big bludgeon into it and thumped it out wide there. Trying to pick that ball up, can't do so. She stacks on the mill. I reckon he's had a bit of trouble here. We go. He pulled that ball in, and I think that's the way the umpire's seen it. You cannot pull the ball in when you're on your knees.
You certainly can't. Great effort by Ganis.
He just covered up and decided to get straight on top. And even if you can't get it out through the fault of the bloke laying on top, you had your opportunity. Just don't do it. So now it's James fighting over that ball, gets the handball down front and centre. Now's an opportunity for the Roos as they now come forward. Going back, taking a very clever mark was Gleeson. That was a ripper, we go.
Yeah, fantastic. They've really gone up a notch or two here in the last couple of minutes. Deloraine in the dying minutes of the second quarter, so this is a really important shot on goal going into half-time.
They need this one, though, don't they? They really do need it, because they're not getting reward for their forward thrusts.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And listen, isn't this game being played at a frantic pace?
Certainly is, as now we watch Gleeson. He kicks the ball towards the goal. The umpire gets the head back, and he's slipped it through for a pretty important goal there to the Deloraine Roos. That certainly got them up and about, and that will give them enormous confidence running into half-time.
Absolutely, very important goal deep into the time on into the second quarter. Sees Deloraine 3 goals 11-29, trailing Rocherlea now by 8 points, 5-7-37.
Up they go. It's Miar who gets the tap out, but no real advantage as Uganis gets that ball out. Running player from back is Morgan. Gets it out wide to Donahue. I've really liked his work in this quarter. He's only a sort of slight fellow, but he goes in hard and he has got enormous amounts of courage. And that's the sort of thing that will give him a lift. He's just not prepared to let that ball come out. And they need a little bit more fight like that, we go.
My word, he has a crack, doesn't he?
Very impressive young man as that ball comes out, and that's nicely tapped by Miar. He can't quite get it to any great advantage. There's our man Donahue again, slips it out to the forward, front and centre, and it's slipped over the back, and it's been rushed through for another minor score to the Roos.
3-12-30 Deloraine trailing Rocherlea 5-7-37.
Good work by the Tigers. They've decided to come back inboard. Fighting hard there was Stubbs. He's over now, trying to get some help. He couldn't get any help going forward, so he decides to go backwards. That could be a bit dangerous. Just trying to jump on that ball and keep it in. That was Coombe. He might have pulled that one in. I don't think the umpire will pin him for that one. He was on that blind side and it was blocked in, so it's going to be a boundary throw in on the wing position. Right in front of what is a tremendous crowd now. Right since the start of the game, it has been building every single minute. The cars just keep coming. It's the old-fashioned barrel. Get it down there quick. Not a lot of time left. Big opportunity as it spills free towards Riley. Gets the ball back in the front and centre. Nowhere else to go. Now it's a bit of a snap over. There's been a whistle on play. Just asked him to stop. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there, Hoppy. Here we go on the replay.
You can see here, I think he was deemed to be caught a little bit high, but no advantage played, so the ball's coming back. Now, I have to apologise. Here we go. I don't have number 25 on my list.
No.
Which is a bit disappointing, so I apologise to that young man for those beautiful, evasive skills and through for the minor score.
3-13-31 Deloraine trailing Rocherlea 5-7-37.
They've really had all the play, and we just look down at our laptop here, and they've been in possession. If we just look that up, it's over 70% of the time in this last stanza of play, but they just haven't pushed on the scoreboard.
16 inside 50s this quarter so far, Hoppy.
16 inside 50s. That is enormous. As I think that's Mansell picks the ball up. He didn't muck around. He drives it forward, and that's what they needed. Didn't muck around. That's a brilliant goal, and they are really coming on now, are the Roos.
What an inspirational effort by their playing coach, Rory Mansell, who's been playing down back all day today to sneak forward and go inside 50 and kick a lovely goal on the run. Sees Deloraine 4 goals, 13-37, tied all up here with Rocherlea 5-7-37. The Tigers have really struggled the last 5 or 10 minutes to get possession and push inside 50.
Their run stopped, hasn't it?
It certainly has.
And in fact, it's all we can see. If we're looking across here, their best players have all been their men down back. You know, with Oates and Richards, these guys have been doing such a fantastic job across that half-back flank, and if it wasn't for them, they could be in just a little bit of trouble. And the Roos, who hadn't hurt them on the scoreboard, but they must be really gaining in confidence now, old boy.
Yeah, they're up and about, and I've noticed that Motlop, the last 2 or 3 minutes, has moved himself into the middle. Obviously trying to pass on a bit of experience and hopefully getting the ball forward.
Well, it hasn't really come down to me, sort of. If they're not going to get it down to me, I'm going to slip up and try and get it down there myself. And I suppose he knows too that there is an opportunity for him to have a spell. Shortly he'll go in and get the old Lucasade, a few jelly babies, and he'll get recharged, refueled, and come out for a big third quarter. But there's time here for another goal if they're good enough for the Tigers. As they drive that ball forward, one of their first 4 goals. That was clumsy play. Maynard there coming out, a bit frustrated, hasn't been down that one. That one thing, doesn't matter what form of footy, from your rods kick to senior level, stay on your feet and don't slide in. You've got to stay strong through your core, Wiggo. We say it week in, week out, no matter what game. If you look at all those good players, like your Ablets and your Judds, they hardly get knocked down. So in that instance, you come in, stay on your feet and don't get out of the contest.
Yeah, spot on, Hoppy. Isn't it a fantastic contest? Obviously, finally, Deloraine have kicked straight and back in the game, and this game means a lot to a lot of people here at this football club today, particularly from the Rocherlea side. And Rory Mansell actually is a past Rocherlea player, so he spoke at the luncheon prior to the game, and it meant a hell of a lot to him as well.
It certainly is, and so there is our half-time, and it's been very entertaining, and the Roos have really come with a rush in that second quarter. Didn't get full advantage for all their inside 50s, but they have now drawn level in what has been a ripping game here in the NTFA J. Bogan Son Division 1.
Mate, at half-time we see Deloraine 4-13-37, and inaccurate Deloraine. Level pegging with Rocherlea Tigers 5-7-37.
As we see the players come off, and they'll enjoy a break. And there is our score, just reiterating, 5-7-37 to 4-13-37.